But we've grown away from any pong. Now it's time to take a look at Transformers Robots in Disguise Warrior Steeljaw, the first and only Decepticon of Wave 1. And sadly, he is the weakest of the group. Not the weakest figure I've ever had, but of this particular pairing, he's got some issues. Biggest one is his feet. Obviously, he's a werewolf, which is neat. Although, considering Steeljaw's, I still see him as more of an Autobot. The cassette, that's a lion instead of wolf dog thing. I think they should have went with Weird Wolf, but that's just me. But he's very much a werewolf with the wolf feet, and he doesn't stand very well at all. I mean, unless you get him posed just right. See? Which means he has to be kind of lurching forward a little bit. You can kind of use his tail as a kickstand, but I mean, the balls on mine are kind of loose, so you really couldn't do that much. But it does work if you do it right. But if you balance him right, he can stand with his tail up better. That's not his only problem, unfortunately. I wish it were. The second are these. There's clearly a tab and a little notch here, but they don't lock in. They just flail open. He's got ratcheted joints, but if you put it all the way back for vehicle mode, they don't want to go. It feels like you're going to break it. You have to kind of pull out a little bit to get it to clear. And it does okay as long as you don't straighten it all the way out. His shoulders are a bit... they only go that far. Very limited range, and it looks kind of weird. He does have more or less normal posability, but with the shoulder the way it is, you don't get a whole lot out of him. And he's hollow. He's got this huge backpack and nothing below. I really wish this could somehow fold up and fill out his torso. He looks really cool from the front, and in, you know, just a standing pose. And he's got a tail, which is articulated. There's a hinge, and then the three segments are ball jointed together. So if you can get him to stand up, you can get some half decent poses out of that. Very happy. Very not happy. Now he does get a weapon, thankfully. A claw. Oh, a wolf with a claw, what do you know? It'll fit in both hands, but it looks better in the right or in the left just because it covers up his fist. Unfortunately, due to his posability and the no wrist thing, he can't really get outside of this kind of you can't get a really good menacing pose with it. It's just kind of there. I do like the overall look they're going for. Another problem is the head. I mean, the head is cool, but because it's an animal head, especially a canine, he looks like he's looking down at the ground all the time. Unless you're looking at it pretty much straight on, you get any amount of overhead view, and just the way his head's shaped. Laserback from the Beast Hunters line had the same problem, only his was worse. Said he looks cool. I like the claws. I wish he had two of them. That'd be neat, a pair of them. But he's overall, he's not the worst toy, but he does lack a little bit of, you know, he can't swing this way and that. So, I don't know why. This is annoying. click in, but it doesn't. Transformation on him is a little bit different. And when he came in the package, he comes like that, and I was like, why can't I move his arm? What am I doing? Alright. So, yeah, it's kind of different transformation, and it's extra fidgety because nothing pegs into place really at all. He's got this huge tab here that goes in a slot here, but it doesn't click in. I don't know if it's just mine or if it's the entire all of them. But you can see it's supposed to, yeah, that doesn't click together. This is so when you sandwich it together, it's supposed to click in, and it goes in the slot, but it doesn't lock at all, ever, which is a shame. The tail locks in kind of with a slot there, whoop, slot there, and a tab up there. But it doesn't really until you get everything in, like the others. This is a pain to try. You kind of gotta wedge that over there and make sure this piece that doesn't serve a purpose because it doesn't lock in clears. And this is the only part of it that really kind of almost snaps in. I mean, it helps hold it in, but it's not really that secure. There, see, that's a good click, but it rarely does that. And now that it doesn't wobble that much. You can see once you get it nice, the end result is actually really cool. With the exception of his Decepticon game symbol. That stupid barcode ring, it just... The way they made him, they couldn't have hidden it, but if they would have put it somewhere else, like... Even on here, on top, would have looked better than just a giant sticker on half of the windshield. I like the vehicle mode. It's a really neat looking monster truck, off-road looking number. Just wish it held together better. And I think this is a very lupine look. It almost looks like it's, if you mask the wheels and the grill, it would look like a robot, the head of a robot wolf, which is awesome. The claw blades fit, it's basically his head, the bottom of his head. It just slots in. Normally I don't like the weapon on the roof thing, but that looks almost like a luggage rack or a just metal bar. I could see somebody on a monster truck or a demolition derby car or a zombie survival vehicle putting something like this on just to look menacing. And it does, which is weird because you can't hurt you, but it makes it look mean. Now, one thing that bugs me is you can see there are posts on the bottom of the wheel wells on each side, and you're supposed to actually plug the hands into them to hold it together, but when you do that, the front end doesn't stay together. The only thing on the figure that actually tabs in right, and it pulls that apart. And that is a wee Decepticon symbol. It's almost just a purple box. But it's a Decepticon symbol, and it's hard to see what they're... It actually looks like it's supposed to be scratched out. So he might be a deserter. That or, well, spoiler warning, in the end of Predacon's Rising, Megatron disbands the Decepticons, so he might have just scratched out his Decepticon symbol because the Decepticons are no more, and he accepts it. So he's like, forget those guys. Yeah, and something you can usually get these. Oh, that's why. See, yeah, that gets tabbed in, and the front end won't stay together for squat, which is a shame because it's the one thing that locks in place. But it looks cool. It's got some problems, but it's not overly bad. I'm not upset. It's just, you know, you kind of question. It's like, I guess they had to have one, and if it... We've had figures, Revenge of the Fallen, Soundwave. That didn't stay together at all. So he's not as bad as that. And his transformation isn't as weak as Scorponok from the movie lines. But yeah, he is the weakest of the four, which isn't saying much because they're all pretty good figures. And that's about it. So there's Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Warrior, Steeljaw. Till all are one.